Welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast, the only podcast for dance studio owners, where each week we bring you business growth strategies to help you increase your profits, impact the lives of more students, while ensuring you give back some time to have a little life outside of the studio. It's time for you to become the go-to studio in your area. Now, here's your host, founder of the Dance Studio Owners Association, Clint Salter.
Hey there, it's Clint, and before we jump into today's episode, I wanted to let you know about a month-long studio growth training that we're running called January Jumpstart, where for the whole month of January, we're giving you video trainings, online webinars, guides, worksheets, templates, you name it, to get you set up to have success in your studio for 2017. Now, it's free to join. All you need to do is text the number 44222 with the word Jumpstart 17. So that's 44222 and the word Jumpstart 17. Now, if you're in the UK, Australia, or New Zealand, you can go to the website dancestudiowners.association.com/jumpstart, and you'll get access straight away to our group and access to all the trainings that we're going to be running during January to help you build your dance studio. Now let's get on with the episode. Hey there, dance studio owners. Welcome to what is a really special week. It's our Studio Success Secrets Week, where we're talking to people just like you, dance studio owners who are doing some amazing things in their business, but without the challenges along the way. And I think it's really important for you all to hear about what it takes to build a successful business, and that it isn't just a straight line. And I was talking to our guest just before our call, and she was saying to me, it's not a straight line. We think it's going to be all, smooth sailing, and we hit lots of bumps along the way. And so I am so thrilled to bring you today's guest, who is Aisling. She is the founder and director of Primaballet in Dublin, Ireland. So we're talking to people from all over the world this week. Aisling has over 25 years experience as a qualified RAD ballet teacher and has trained at the Perm State Ballet School in Russia as part of the first group of Irish ballet students to study there. Aisling is also the founder and director of the Ballerina Store, a mum of 3 beautiful children and 2 crazy Cocker Spaniels. Wow, you've got a big family there to look after, Aisling. How are you today?
I'm good. Thanks, Clint. Thanks so much for having me. Delighted to be part of this.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's great to have you. So, Aisling, tell us a little bit about your journey. How did you start your dance studio, and how has that kind of evolved over the years?
Oh, gosh. I was one of these kids that just fell in love with the whole atmosphere of a ballet class from no age. When I was a child, there was nowhere I'd rather be. And as a teenager, I would go and help out at every class I possibly could. Because I just loved the whole atmosphere and environment of it. And I remember when I was in my mid to late teens and saying to my parents, I wanted to be a ballet teacher and have my own ballet school. And they were horrified at the thoughts that you could possibly try and make a career and make money out of this. And my father actually sat me down at the time, with a piece of paper, and he said, have you any idea how many kids you'll have to turn up, not only for 1 week, but repeated weeks, and pay this amount of money just to cover your rents, and just to, and then not only for 1 year, but the next year and the next year and the next year. Yeah. And he was, and I know it was only his concern. And at the time, very much in Ireland, 25 years ago, dance schools were not the norm. And the whole extracurricular market was not a business that you went into. And really very much the kind of the whole profile of a ballet teacher was a spinster who, wasn't married, had no kids, and it wasn't somebody's young teenager who wanted to actually become this. So, and I think that actually was part of my personality at the time, that I said, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. And it certainly fired me up to do it, even though there was nothing else I wanted to do more than this. So, but it was, starting a business in those days, there was no email, there was no mobile phone, there was no internet. And it was a very different environment. It was all print ads and flyers and word of mouth. And it was just a very, very different, it was a really, really hard graft, looking back. And a lot of traveling before I had a car, of traveling on public transport, getting yourself to venues, and and growing a business, and being very, very hands-on with it. Whereas today, setting up a business, which I did with the retail, the Ballerina Store, only 3 years ago, it's day and night is the difference. So it's really, it's a privilege today to be in the world of business because, the internet alone has made it so much easier for us all. It really has.
For sure. Do you think though, with the internet opening up for us and technology opening up for us, what we've seen, obviously, you're one of our program members in Studio Success Formula, but we talk a lot about online marketing. I mean, how did your business shift when this kind of world of online stuff entered? Because it's a great opportunity, but there's a lot more options.
Yeah, and it's changing so fast. It's changing all the time, which is the beauty of your program, what it offers. It really takes the slog work. If you're trying to figure it out yourself, and trying to keep current and up to date, you're listening to somebody like Gary Vaynerchuk, let's say, and he's telling you constantly how this is changing and that's changing and the teenagers are on this and now they're on that. It can be really, and I'm 45, so I've my own teenage kids who educate me very quickly. But, it really is very fast paced and moving quickly. So the beauty of having a program like yours is that you can actually just plug in and you don't miss stuff, But it was learning. I mean, in the early day, I love the creative process of business, and I do think building a brand and building business for me is a highly creative process. So everything. I love creating websites and ad copy and all of that, but learning how to do it, you have to be open to learning, and you can't be the dinosaur who's going to say, "Oh, well, it doesn't work for me. I tried it once." It does. There's lots of big brands throwing vast amounts of money at this, and it's succeeding for them. So if you don't get it right on your first go, go at it a few times and you will. That was the first thing that when I plugged into your program was I thought, okay, I'm not getting the success rate out of social media marketing that I know is there. So let's, be open and let's learn how to do this. But it is all interconnected with your brand. And I've certainly in the last 3 years of developing a retail end, it has benefited the services business, as in our ballet school, which is providing a service far more because it's opened my mind to another way of approach, that I hadn't before.
I think it's great. I mean, we work together and I know a little bit about your story, but what do you think has been the ingredients for you to be able to really impact the lives of so many students through your studio? Because you've got quite a lot of students. And so what do you think has been the key to you being able to grow the number of students you have in your studio? Because a lot of people are listening. That's what they want. We see it all the time inside of our groups and our programs. They want more students. So what do you think it has been that you've done that's got you there?
Sure. I think I've learned probably more about, customer loyalty and building a customer base through people not in the dance industry previous to your program. So I would listen to a lot of very successful entrepreneurs. And I did find in the past that the dance industry can be very negative about our customers. You'll get people be negative about the stereotypical crazy dance mom or whatever. And I certainly would have trained on teachers who kept, parents who are our customers at an arm's length. And then when I started to really, because I had to educate myself in terms of retail because it was a complete new concept to me. And I started to listen to, there's amazing people out there, like let's say Mickey Drexler. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He's J. Crew and The Gap. When he talks about his customer, he talks about them, like it's this amazing love affair almost. They really, really embrace their customers. And when I applied that, to the business of what we do, from my point of view, we have two types of customers. We have the student and we have the parent. And if both aren't feeling the love, then, they don't stay. You can't give this amazing service to the kids in class and be a little bit brittle and obnoxious to the parent, because as a parent myself of 3 kids, I'm not going to continue to show up to somebody's class who's being rude to me when I'm paying. I'm just not, because you're juggling too much as a parent. And at some stage, if the teacher's been brittle to you on a few occasions, it just takes one occasion for your kid to come out and go, "Oh, I don't like tennis anymore." And that's enough for your built up memory of the fact that the tennis coach has been quite rude or quite brittle or not good with the parents for you to say, "Okay, we're done there. That's fine." But if you as a customer are getting this great feedback from, let's say, the tennis coach or the dance teacher or whoever, and they're really embracing your experience too, when your kid has an off day, you go, oh, why is that? Well, let's talk to your coach. You know, so it is really, I don't equally think that you can give the parent a great experience and then be very tough on the kids, because they are kids and they are minors. And for us, our program is very much based on recreational. And I made that decision quite a few years ago. I mean, the ballet industry is phenomenal, but it really is for very elite bodies. And most kids over the years coming into our classes didn't have that elite body. They might have had all the passion in the world, but if their turnout wasn't there, you know, if it wasn't set that way, I couldn't create that for them. But to cut their lifespan with it short, I could see that they were missing out so much. I mean, I can even remember as a kid, I still remember my first pair of ballet shoes, my first ballet class, my first tutu, my first point shoes, and they were so exciting. And we still see that excitement over and over. We'd point shoe fittings at one of our classes today, and the teachers, you know, were just calling me to check on stuff, but I could hear the kids in the background. They're so unbelievably excited. Now, none of them, you know, will go on probably to be professional dancers, but it's still giving them, you know, that sense of, me personally, I just love the world of the whole ballerina or ballet. I think it's amazing. I think it's, you know, it's everything from the music to the artistry to the grace, even fashion, you know, the whole Sarah Jessica Parker look when she was in Sex and the City, that was all ballet and tutus.
I remember that look. I remember that look well.
And it's such, I say to my teachers all the time, like, we're in a really cool business. You know, it's not, you know, we're in something that kids love to dance. What, you know, what child doesn't love to dance? They love to draw, they love to dance, they love to sing when they're little. It's only society that then starts to tell them they're not talented at these things. And, you know, you don't have to be. So I did make that decision in the early years. Am I going to go with this recreational school that lots of kids get benefit from? And it's still a really good level of training for them. But we can instill this beautiful posture and gracefulness. And kids dancing to classical music that perhaps today they don't actually listen to anymore, because there's so much out there that they can. Or are we going to just streamline it to the ultra talented? And for me, it was just, I think also when I had children of my own, it very much shifted, because we all want our kids to be super amazing at everything, but the reality is they're not. You know, they have things that they love and that they're average at, and that's okay, but they still love doing it. And they have things that they rock at and they're great at, but you know, you don't know what that is. And it's a pity that we close the door sometimes to kids on things if they're not super successful at things. So it really, I suppose, that was the deciding factor as to which way the school was going to go. And then the programs and that.
Yeah, look, I think, you know, and again, from like, if we look at it from the business perspective, you know, running a school that is predominantly recreational or has a big recreation dance element to it is a more profitable school. And totally. People say to me, you know, but Clint, you know, my competition, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, you know, they do 20 classes a week, but they take up 20 times more, you know, 20 times more of your time. There, you know, there's a lot more kind of that you need to factor into those costs around running a competitive school. And a lot of people run both streams and do it very successfully. A lot of people run just recreational types of studio similar to yours that can be highly, highly successful. But I've never seen I spoke with one the other day, actually, a school that is only competitive, and they're really sinking at the moment. And that doesn't surprise me. So I think the way that you have thought about it and the fact that you get to impact a lot more people's lives is pretty amazing, right?
Oh, you do. Absolutely. And I mean, I did have a few, I suppose, slightly sad experiences when I was in my early days teaching, when I realized that some of the kids that I was teaching were confiding things that were happening to them at home. That you realize that, you know, not every child coming into your class is coming from a happy home life. So if we can be 1 hour of safeness and happiness and positivity and encouragement. And maybe it's the only time in that child's week that somebody said, oh gosh, you look beautiful today, honey. There could be an awful lot going on at home, as is the world we live in. But if we can strive to give that, and, academic life is tough on kids too. They can have their own challenges too. So they might go into, everything is tested and graded, and they might have a really great home life, but a tough challenge in school. And if we can be that 1 hour that, of course you're working and you're learning, but you're still told you're fantastic today, and they feel good about themselves. But also I say to my teachers all the time, every teacher doesn't remember every student, but every student does remember every teacher. We can all remember from the childhood the teacher that in that moment called it wrong or embarrassed us or whatever. We stand still. If you talk to anyone as an adult, and they can still tell you the story of the teacher they had that did X, Y, and Z. So you've got to be mindful that it really is. It's a very privileged job, to have little kids in and be that impacting, even if it's only for a year of their life.
Yeah, I completely agree. On the side of teachers, because obviously the customer service side, for you is hugely important, as it should be as a studio owner. Mm-hmm. How do you translate that passion and I guess that vision that you have for the delivering brilliant customer service, not just in the classroom, in the training, but also outside of that and to the parents? How do you translate that through to your staff, so your office staff to your teachers?
Sure. Well, it's always a challenge, because you're trying not to bore the pants off them as well. You're trying to actually get the message through them by constantly saying the same things. But I did find in the last while, even studying books like, Michael Gerber, the E-Myth, and seeing that structures are, systems are in place. And I did earlier this year thought, okay, well, let's really work on the system. Can I create a system that creates a culture? How would that be? So that it's not, because I certainly have made the mistake in the past that I assumed that the teachers understood what I want. And that's a big mistake. And I also took for granted that you do, when you're, after many years of being in a studio, you do things instinctively, and you actually sometimes forget the learning curve that was involved for yourself that your teachers are still going through. So, I do find now a weekly meeting, with everyone in the room together is vital. We work very hard on our programs together as a team. And when we're creating them, I'm constantly pushing them to create it as a better experience for the child. So it's everything down to, let's say, if we want to create a class format for what we call our prima tots, so let's say our 3 to 5 year olds, and we're working on maybe good strong postures and elevation. So we've got to create exercises that will obviously create that, but is our music stimulating? Are we bringing out the love of dance in it? Have we got the children to travel across the room because they want to move, and then I will then create that, and then I'll say to the teachers, okay, now teach it to me. So, teach it to each other and in the room, and we'll tweak it again and again and again, so I can hear the words that they're instinctively using, and give them feedback on that. And it's really a lot of input goes into it. And then you send them into the classroom. We have things like a group WhatsApp that they debrief every day into it. So every teacher puts up, and I want to know as much as they can possibly tell me from, little Susie came from her trial today. She really loved it. Sarah, who's with us 6 months, had an off day. I'm particularly, they're challenged. I tried that exercise with that group today, but I really didn't feel that I'm getting through to them. So you're constantly keeping the dialogue open. Whereas in the past, I very much made the mistake of handing it to them and said, off you go, guys, go and do your thing. So, and you do, I've heard you say it before, you do have to be prepared to be, in that mentorship role to them. You can't just say, okay, I'm paying you for X number of hours.
Yeah, that is the role as a studio owner from a really, it is the main role throughout your whole studio is to be a mentor, and you step up and you go from being a teacher, which has a mentorship element to it, to mentoring students, to mentoring your teachers, like you said, is crucial. And I talk about it a lot because it is really important. I think too many studio owners think just by having staff, you're like, great, I've got a staff member. All right, you go and do that. And it's kind of like, good luck. Off you go and good luck. Yeah. But we know that to get the most out of our staff and to make sure they're happy and fulfilled and motivated and inspired, that takes us, doing that for them, helping them through that journey and that mindset that you said, well, I pay you to, you should do your job. That's a very old school way of thinking when it comes to having team members.
Oh, totally. And it's you can certainly risk it, but you learn very fast. That's the beauty of business. You learn quickly because your customers will tell you they won't stay around. And also, it's what I found interesting in the last while. It's asking questions that perhaps they don't in their normal given week ask of themselves. We did an interesting team meeting probably about 3 weeks ago that I said to them, what are the 3 things that you would like the students who you've taught this week to say about you? Just give me 3 things. So they all listed 3 things that they would like, 3 words or phrases. And then I said, okay, how can you bring that at the forefront of your classes next week? We also did little things like I have our kids. And again, these are ideas that that I'll think about and come up with, and I'll go to one of the classes and try it with the teachers so that we can experience the kids' reaction, because it's a bonding thing for the teachers too. So we'll get the kids, we'll hand them a label, and I'll say, at the end of the class today, what's the thing you'll have liked to have improved? And when you're walking up and down teaching a class and they all have a badge on you and somebody is saying, my splits or my grand jeté or my turnout or my this, it changes the dynamic of the energy because it's bringing that personal thing of the child, in front of you. So we've done things like that the teachers are going, oh, wow, that was amazing. Or even with our younger grade classes, because obviously they wouldn't be as advanced to be thinking what their technique preferences are. We'd say, what's your favorite exercise in class? So they might write down what it is and they'll put it on a badge on their little leotard, and we make sure that we've included it in the class. But when it comes to their favorite one, they lead the exercise, and it totally changes the energy of the class. And it's great for the teachers because the teachers then get to see the connection. And that magic connection when the students actually look at you in the eyes as you're speaking, that's huge. And it can take a bit of tweaking to get there. When the kids just don't look at you blankly, when they actually look at you in anticipation, see what you're saying next. But that's really the feedback for the teachers, more so than, of course, everyone wants a good paycheck as well. But, that's what you're really trying to help them create themselves, because it's magical, that aspect of working with children.
Yeah, completely. I want to ask you, we had a brief chat beforehand, and you said, and I mentioned in the intro, it's not a straight line to success. What are maybe, and I'm not a fan of saying, one thing I would have done differently, is because I think if we did that one thing differently, we wouldn't be where we are today. But looking back to help our studio owners that are listening, what is that, the one or the 2 things that you look back on, what, that was something I wish I did differently. I wish I knew this sooner, or some type of lesson that could help our studio owners that are listening.
Sure. Well, I often say if I went back to my younger self, I'd certainly tell her, don't be so reactive to negative feedback from your customers, and ask their opinion. It took me years to actually ask their opinion. Now I finish every correspondence with a parent, be it by phone call or text or email, with, I really hope Sarah is enjoying our classes with us, or Susie or Mary or whoever, let me know if you've any queries I can help you with. So every correspondence is finished with an open invite to come and let me know, because they will really, really, tell you where you're going wrong. In the beginning, I certainly would have been, and it's an age thing as well. It's an immaturity thing as well. You've created this class, you're going to teach it this way, and the parents don't like it. And then all of a sudden you go, it's the parents' fault, it's the customer's fault, and it's really not. It's a big businesswoman I'm a big fan of is Ina Garson. Are you familiar with? She's the Barefoot Contessa. She does great cooking programs, but she's done great. Yeah, she's very successful when she's done great talks at Google. And she said, when she opened her first store in the Hamptons, she served very elaborate dishes like, chicken with fancy mushrooms and stuff that people just didn't buy. And it was only when she kept tweaking till she eventually hit within a few weeks the more home-cooked recipes that flew out the door. But instead of getting mad with her customers, she just kept tweaking her product. And that's very much exactly the same with us, So, listen to your customers. Don't get angry when you do get the angry email. And I've got many of them over the years that come in, the parent sends them at 1 a.m. Now I understand as a parent what they do, because they put all their kids to bed. They're wound up with what their child has told them upset going to bed, and they fire off this email. And yes, they should have slept on it. Of course they should. But, no parent really wants to be the pain in the ass mom coming on. I really don't believe they do. I think there maybe is a tiny percentage of people out there in the world who like drama, but I really think most parents want to bring their kids to the class, pay the bill, see their kids happy, and know that they're actually getting value from it. But your customers will tell you where you're going wrong in a heartbeat. They really, really were. I also think I would have be a little bit. I'm all for it. Is a hard graft, and you've got to keep working and stuff. But I would be I used to be a little bit too reactionary in the beginning. I would certainly be more into planning and assessing a lot more now today. So while I probably work twice as hard, perhaps, it's more careful. It's less leap in there with 2 feet. It's more do a lot more planning in advance, a lot more thinking about it. And if you come up with a concept or an idea, I often look to other businesses to see how they're doing. How are they delivering a similar type experience to their customer? Tweak it a bit. Think about it, and then after you've put in all that work, then go and give it, because it really is like a chef giving a recipe. You wouldn't just test the recipe once at home in your kitchen and go out and sell it the next day. You'd be stupid to do so. Chefs practice them over and over and over and over again before it hits the restaurant floor. And yet in my early days, I literally would, conceive of a product and literally deliver it to everyone the next day. So, and then, being a bit of a hump that people didn't think it was as amazing as I thought it was. So, it's, I suppose, but that comes with maturity, doesn't it?
For sure.
And time,
For sure. Exactly. Look, Ainsley, I could talk to you, and we have talked for hours before, for a very long time, because I think you've got everyone listening. I'm sure you can hear from Ainsley just sharing, 25 minutes with us. She's so passionate about what she does and what she puts behind her business, but she's also very invested in learning and growing, which you would get from the fact that she's watching, videos on YouTube of all of these amazing entrepreneurs. And that's what it's about. Ainsley jumped into our association, into our Studio Success formula, our signature program. Now she's part of our Inner Circle, which is our mastermind group. And the one thing that has really impressed me about you, which impresses me about successful studio owners, is that you are so hungry to learn. And do you think that is part of your key to success as well, is that you never stop learning?
Yeah, I think I always call myself a bit of a slow learner. I mean, I've got quite a few slapdowns from life over the years that it really makes you go, park your ego at the door and, just accept that it is a constant learning program. And even when I went from a sole trader, as in purely teaching all the classes myself, and I had really perfected that model and did very well, well. And then I decided I would, expand and bring in staff. And I naively thought that the same mindset that was operating as a sole trader could operate as a business owner with staff and a team. And it's not, it's day and night. So, it is continuously learning. And I even know with the goals I've set for the business for 2017, it'll be a next leap forward. And I have seen that the business can really only grow with the consciousness of the business owner. It's very easy. The service we provide is wanted by, how many little girls want to dance? They come out of the womb nearly wanting to dance. I mean, it's an amazing business to be in. But the thing that holds your business back from succeeding is your own consciousness. And the day you think that you know it all, you really might as well just stay in bed that day, because you'll really make really bad decisions. So it is, but in terms of your program, I mean, there's wealth there. I mean, you're within probably about 6 weeks of being in it, it turned around our social media marketing. But in saying that, I did listen to your podcasts around the clock. My kids used to walk into the kitchen because they were all on summer holidays at the time and go, "Oh my God, is it that guy Clint again?" Because I had you 7 and you were playing in the car. But and if I hit a podcast that tweaked and resonated with me, I don't listen to it once, I listen to it 4 or 5 times, because I know I miss stuff. So I listen to it again and again and again. And I'm always, it's very interesting when you do see in the groups people, let's say, struggling with Facebook or social media marketing. It is all there. It's just your willingness to admit that you've got to listen to this stuff over and over and over again, and listen to, you've amazing guests and people involved. Listen to, the podcasts on copy, because I didn't understand the value of copy until I actually listened to the people you brought on to talk about it. Copy is so important. And there's a reason why people make vast amounts of money from being amazing copywriters. So
they make a lot of money.
They do. But we're so naive as studio owners to think, oh, I can write my own copy. Well, maybe you can, but maybe you can't. You got to be open to the fact that you might just suck at some aspect of it. So, and, just pay attention and listen. But all the information is there. Really, the only thing that stops us is ourselves, not being willing to tweak at it and go at it again. It's, I say it all the time to my team. I love the story of Edison and the light bulb, that he said it was a 1,000-step, process to invent it. And, I hope, the next level of what I want to achieve isn't a 1,000-step process, but it is multiple steps. It is. And so if the first time you do your first Facebook ad campaign falls on its face, well, that's okay. That was step 1. And maybe it's going to take you 10, 20 times to do it, but you will do it. Yeah. You will do it.
Persistence, the persistence and the testing is really the key. It's really the key. Yeah. Aisling, look, such a great conversation today. I really appreciate you taking some time out to jump on our special week of Studio Success Secrets. What's your website so that people might want to check you out?
Sure. Yeah, we're ballet.ie. So www.ballet.ie.
It's a good URL.
Yeah, it's a good one, right? Yeah.
Did well with that one. Okay, Aisling, well, great to chat. Thanks again for sharing so much gold with our studio owner listeners today. Appreciate it.
It was a pleasure, and thanks so much, Clint. I'm honoured to have been asked.
Hey, it's Clint, and I hope you really enjoyed that episode from our Studio Success Secrets Week. Now, if you didn't catch it at the beginning, I want to make sure that you know that for the month of January, we're running January Jumpstart, where we're giving you free access to a number of different trainings, worksheets, templates, video trainings, webinars to help you grow your studio in 2017. Now, to get access to all of these trainings, I want you to text the number 44222 with the word Jumpstart 17. That's the number 17. So 44222 with the word Jumpstart 17 to get access to our January Jumpstart group. Now, if you're in Australia, New Zealand, or the UK, what I want you to do is go to dancestudioownersassociation.com/jumpstart, and you can get access as well to all of our trainings that we're having inside our members area for January Jumpstart. Now, we've already got hundreds of dance studio owners from around the world that are joining us in this training, and I hope to see you there. So don't delay, jump on in, and let's make 2017 together your best year in business. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. For all the resource links from the show and to receive access to our free dance studio growth training, make sure you visit transformmydancestudio.com.